Buffalo Under the Helmet, presented by Roswell Park Comprehensive Cancer Center, is the show for football fans. Behind-the-scenes stories, personal moments, and authentic Buffalo pride all season long. Tune in on YouTube anytime, anywhere. We are at Wingnuts Bar and Grill, Millersport. It's another Buffalo Under the Helmet, brought to you by Roswell Park Comprehensive Cancer Center. My name is Rich Gensler. Packed house for this episode 6. We see the Mafia Babes out there. They have been as loyal a fan group that as we've seen here every single week. And they always come, Joe, with a specialized sign or something, and they do it here again. And for all of you, if you don't know who this is 44, Buffalo Joe Andreessen. Give it up! They love you, Buffalo Joe.
I don't want them to dislike me, so I'm happy about that.
Excellent answer. Well, good to see you, man.
Good to see you.
Appreciate you. And, being a local kid and doing shows like this, I mean, did you ever think for a second that not only would you be a local kid, A, playing in the NFL, and then B, playing for your hometown team, and then C, doing silly things like this?
Yes and no to all those questions kind of combined. As you alluded to, the dream has always been to make it to the NFL, period. But then, like, kind of the extra dream on top of that was to play for the hometown team. You're going to ask my teammates back at Bryan College. I used to tell them my dream was to play middle linebacker for the Buffalo Bills, and that's why I'm here now. This kind of stuff is kind of stuff you don't think of usually, so this is just kind of the icing on top of it.
Yeah, for sure. How would you describe yourself? Linebackers, you just said middle linebacker, right?
Yeah.
So do you describe yourself, if someone was to say, what's the scouting report on Joe Andreessen? What kind of player is he? Are you a run stuffer? Are you an athlete? Are you a pass? How would you describe your game?
I think you want to be all those things that you
sure.
So kind of trying to develop that. I think I've always had ever since I was little, just a knack to get into the ball on defense, no matter if that's in the run or pass game. And just, as you said, trying to develop all those things at once and trying to be a complete linebacker. And, that's why I went in there working every day.
Yeah, and you always have to be prepared, right? I mean,
absolutely.
Obviously we're seeing you on special teams and all the units, and you kill it on special teams, and you're always in the mix somehow finding the football no matter what play you're doing. But then there are the opportunities that you actually get in the game, and you have to be ready no matter what the situation.
Yeah, absolutely. So we kind of have a motto in the Bills organization, defense, whatever it is you want to say. But it's kind of like we don't have backups and starters here. We just have ball players. And that's just kind of my attitude and everyone's attitude. As you alluded to, no matter the situation, your number can be called and you have to go out there and, they expect you to perform to the level that the person before you was playing at. So always got to be ready.
I got to ask you, because I'm all about that brace, about what's the deal with, you got a big giant thing on your arm. Tell me about that.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys that wear it on our team. So just kind of, when you hyperextend your arm, you kind of hurt the ligaments in there.
Yep.
And during I think it might have been after the first week, just practice hyperextended a little bit. And it's not too bad or anything like that, just kind of more of a precaution thing at this point. Yeah. Not trying to make it any worse than it is.
For sure.
Yep.
Talk about the Bengals game, and how would you describe the energy of that game? Obviously, the history of the team and against Burrow isn't particularly great, wasn't great coming in. But talk about him coming back, Higgins coming back, that offense coming back, the what they presented to you as a defense, and then obviously the outcome of the game and how it kind of ebbed and flowed to your favor there in the second half. Talk about the energy of the game.
Yeah, so just as you first stated out, we kind of knew Joe Burrow and T. Higgins, everyone's kind of going to be back. We're going to have the fully loaded Bengals, which I think kind of made it exciting building up to the game and everything like that. And we knew the talent they had on offense, so kind of going into the week and everything, the game plan was to make sure we can limit those explosive players to the best of our ability as much as you can, that they're explosive because they make a lot of big plays happen. So, that was the plan. And going into the game, I think the game lived up to the hype and everything like that. Lots of up and downs. We saw how good of a team they were, and I think we made some plays.
Well, you responded when you needed to, right? I mean,
absolutely.
This is the second game in a row that the defense, your side of the football, made plays that turned both of those games, the Steelers and the Bengals games, around. I mean, talk about that, like how the defense responded at really critical times in the game to help you win.
Yeah, I think that just goes into the halftime adjustments that we made. Because even in the first half, I think a lot of the guys on the defense, just the team as a whole, kind of felt, they weren't beating us necessarily. It was just little things on our part that we had to be better at. And, I think we were struggling a little bit on third down in that first half. And we kind of came out in that second half, knew we had to be better on third down. And, a big thing with our defense mentality is taking the ball away, and we had two pretty big turnovers that shifted the game.
Yeah, pretty crazy. Mm-hmm. So let me ask you about Josh's play and you being on the bench, watching him from the sideline and some of the magic that he made in that game. When you talk about what it's like being a player and being on the field and on the sideline, watching all of that unravel right in front of your eyes, man. It's crazy.
I think at this point now, just being on the sideline, it's just like,
doesn't surprise you?
Yeah, you just expect something like that. So he had a couple plays. The first play to Khalil, I remember I was actually talking to Khalil after the game about it. He's like, I didn't even know the ball was coming to the last second. And he sat up, turned around. I was like, oh, and it just kind of stuck into his hands. And then he had a big play later in the game. I think when we were down, the big long run. And I remember looking at Brandon Cooks when he came back to the sideline. He was just like made a face like that's a big play right there. So it was cool to see that. I mean, we're just used to it, I guess, to a little bit, but we're still shocked just to see week in, week out what he does.
Lucky to have him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Put it that way, right? Yeah. All right, we're going to go to the break, but before we do, we got to get to Paula's Donuts' sweet play of the game. So I'm going to ask you to pick what you thought was the sweetest play of the Bengals game.
I'd have to say CB's interception.
For sure.
I remember during the play, TB was on the sideline with me, and he was getting the plays, so we were just talking about the play, and we knew CB was going on that, and TB was like, he might get a free hit here, and then that play happened. Me and TB just looked at each other like we didn't even say anything. We just looked at each other, and he's running all the way down into the end zone, and the sideline erupted after that. So definitely out there.
What? He jumped into your sideline? Wow. Now we can't see you, but you're behind the camera. But awesome, Bills Mafia babes back there. As CB jumped into the stands at her sideline. That's phenomenal. And TB, by the way, is
too up in there.
Of course. Yeah. Really cool. So we have to do this thing. We do this in every episode, right? Where we take this is the official Paula's Donut of Buffalo under the helmet. There it is. Almost fell off the plate. Let's not do that. What we do is, every week, Buffalo Joe, we take this amazing cinnamon donut with the cream topping, a caramel swirl, and some cookies on top with Bill's colors. We toast.
Okay, let's do it.
And then we have a bite. There we go. Let's have a bite.
I don't think there's a good way to take your sauce down.
That's why there's napkins there for you, my friend, because I had that problem every time until I learned to take a small little niblet off the bottom of it. When you buy these special donuts at Paula's, $1.75 goes to Roswell Park Comprehensive Cancer Center. So when you buy or when you go to Paula's, like I know all of you do at one time or another, ask for the Buffalo Under the Helmet donuts, and you will donate just by your purchase $1.75 all by itself straight to Roswell for everything they do. Speaking of Roswell, it's time for our Roswell Park timeout. I had a chance to sit down with Dr. Wong recently, and he talked a little bit about how Roswell Park Comprehensive Cancer Center really kind of mimics what the Bills do in terms of recruiting the people that are in their program. He talks about some of the same things Sean McDermott and Brandon Beane do, right? Like process and culture, all of that. That's what Roswell Park does when they're recruiting like the Bills do in the draft and free agency. When Roswell Park is recruiting their staff, they go sort of through the same routine. Watch this. We talk about this championship football team all the time and the championship caliber of talent that has to be recruited to keep up that excellence. Same fit for Roswell Park Comprehensive Cancer Center. Dr. Wong joins us now to tell us a little bit about the way you build your championship team.
Absolutely. So we are held to a high standard. We're a NCI designated comprehensive cancer center. Everyone here is a first round draft pick. We bring them in, they have to perform, and we measure against ourselves, and we're brutally honest with ourselves. And that's the kind of stuff that you need to do to build a winning team.
You have to go on universal searches, right? Global searches, national searches to find these first round draft picks to join your team.
Correct. If you look through our roster, people from all over the world, from institutions in the U.S., in Canada, and essentially around the world.
There's a lot of fit and culture. You hear about Coach McDermott talking about things like that all the time with his team. With your team, the same applies.
The important thing is everybody brings their own superpower. We're good in the stuff that we do well and integrate into a larger sort of team mentality. That's what makes us win.
So for anybody that was to come to Roswell Park Comprehensive Cancer Center for treatment, for diagnosis, they are to know that your team is built for one purpose, and that is to be the best.
To be the best looking after that patient.
Dr. Wong, thanks so much.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for doing this.
Glad to be here.
Welcome back. Wingnuts Bar and Grill on Miller Sport is Buffalo under the helmet of Rich Gensler with Buffalo Joe Andreessen. One more time for 44. Homemade right here in Buffalo. And representing, of course, the Bills and Lancaster, New York.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Lancaster in the house. Very quickly before we talk about the Patriots, tell me about, again, going back to, I remember watching you on TV playing for Lancaster in those games in the sectionals and being like, man, that's a player right there. That guy's going places. I said the same thing about Dolak the year later. I think it was a year later. I was like, man, these guys are going places, and you guys have gone places. Talk about, like, playing there in high school and having, whatever it was, a couple thousand people in there. Compare that, if you can, to what it is now coming out of the tunnel in front of 70,000 people at the current Highmark.
Yeah,
as a pro.
Yeah, I think
crazy, right?
I remember those games. So my junior and senior year playing at Highmark, or it might have been New Era back then, whatever it was called. And when you're in high school, like those games are like the biggest thing in the world to you. Like everyone's watching, like the whole town's gonna be here, and that's all you could think about that week. You weren't worried about anything else. And fast forward to now, and it's like not just Lancaster's there. Everyone in Western New York's there, and probably people from all over are there. That Bills Mafia spreads throughout the nation. So it's definitely cool to just and a blessing to run out of that tunnel week in, week out, and kind of humbles yourself inside a little bit and kind of just reminds you that the work is worth it.
When you come out of the tunnel, are you calm, or is your heart rate at like 150?
I'd say coming out of the tunnel, it's calm. I think kind of once the coin toss happens and you kind of put the helmet on, you're ready. That's kind of when the heartbeat goes up, and then after that first play, it kind of goes back down.
Yeah, and that's a real thing, right?
Yep.
Once you get that first hit in, now it's on, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So let's talk about the Patriot game. Obviously late in the season, divisional games are massive.
Yeah.
For the past few years, they haven't been as big for you guys, but now the Patriots clearly pose a threat, right? They won the first meeting by 3 in Orchard Park. And look, I mean, everybody knows it, but they win on Sunday. They put the hats and T-shirts on, right? So talk about, aside from them being a divisional foe, you personally, watching them for years as a kid, beating the you-know-what out of us, like motivation, fire. Like, I mean, is it actually, I know generally when we talk to you guys, it's one game at a time.
Yeah.
I guess I want to call a little, I'll say it anyway, and I probably shouldn't, but I'm going to call a little BS on that because there's got to be a little something extra for the Patriots, no?
Yeah, I think not just the Patriots, but the division games in general are definitely more amplified week in, week out compared to the non-division games, just because we know the easiest way to make the playoffs is through the division, winning your division. So I'm sure, once we start getting back to it tomorrow, the coaches are going to mention that. And, the kind of like what the other guys say, the daily process and what we do isn't going to change or anything like that. We're going to go back and, prepare like we always do.
Yeah, so obviously because they're in division, you're familiar with that, right?
Yeah.
So when you turn on the tape, obviously you watch the first game. Maybe you watch some of last year's games and some of the other games that they played this year on tape to learn about them. What kind of stands out to you guys about them?
I definitely say just remembering the first game too. Their heavy personnel run game is definitely very impressive, and I'm on the defensive side of the ball, so I'm going to talk about their offense more. And Drake May has been playing very, very well throughout the season, and they have some wideouts on the outside too that have explosive plays ability. So just being able to, first I think shut down the run, and then after that, not that I have the game plan or anything yet, but that's just what I see.
So Stevenson has a tendency he's got a fumbling issue, famously, for most of his career. Is that something that the coaches, punch the ball, Joe? If you have an opportunity, and it's probably the same for everybody, but for a guy that's prone to fumble, is it enhanced in terms of the preparation to really ingrain in it, get at this guy more than maybe somebody else, or no?
Yes and no. I'd say, I think punching at the ball is made a big deal, at the very start of camp, because as I mentioned earlier, takeaways, turnovers can shift the game. So, as soon as we start camp, the defensive coaches are making a big emphasis of punching at the ball, just because those takeaways are huge. And I'm sure during the week they'll probably mention something like that about, the fumbling tendency or something like that. But, he also runs very hard as well, so you have to make sure you get him on the ground at the same time. So punching the ball is great, but tackling is huge as well.
So you've had defensive touchdowns in the last 2 weeks. I got to think that that's something you can build from going forward, correct?
Yeah.
You mentioned taking the ball away. Taking the ball away and scoring is even better.
It's funny that you say that because it actually is take the ball away and score. That's kind of that is kind of the motto. So it's funny that you say that. Yeah. So.
All right, we'll stick around. Coming up next. So last show, Connor McGovern and I did a little Thanksgiving draft. You and I are going to do a Christmas draft. Coming up next has nothing to do, it could have something to do with Christmas. You're going to find out. Stay right here to Buffalo Under the Helmet from Wingnuts Bar and Grill, brought to you by Roswell Park, Comprehensive Cancer Center. I'm Rich Gensler. More with Buffalo Joe Andreessen when we return. Stay right here.
Buffalo Under the Helmet is presented by Roswell Park Comprehensive Cancer Center. Before you make any treatment or surgery decisions, please spend just one day at Roswell Park. And sponsored by Paula's Donuts, made with love. Wingnuts, our official home. Athlete Accolades, where the love for the game lives on. Vision Financial Group, your future, our focus. M Hotel Buffalo, convenience with contemporary style in Buffalo, New York. And Team Lammy, the full-service agency to connect your brand to the Buffalo community.
Huge Wingnuts Bar and Grill audience for Buffalo Joe Andreessen on another episode of Buffalo Under the Helmet, brought to you by Roswell Park Comprehensive Cancer Center. Look, before we get back to Joe, I can't thank all the people here, all the Wingnuts people, all of our sponsors enough. For our first season, we're in episode 6 of Buffalo Under the Helmet. We hope this is a thing that's going to go for years and years and years from now. For all of you that have watched online on YouTube, thank you for watching. Please spread the word and certainly subscribe, like, share, all those things with the show. We're very proud of it and happy that you can be a part of it however you are. So back to this. We're going to do a Christmas draft, Joe.
Okay.
You were filled in a little bit during the break about how this works. So basically, we're going to pick, and you're going to go first because you're the esteemed guest.
First.
Yeah. So we're going to pick a Christmas-ish, winter-ish event and which player you'd want to share that event with. Okay?
You didn't tell me about that part.
Yeah. You got to pick one of your teammates. So in the end, 49. If I did my math for 53 guys, you're only going to get to pick 3. You're one of. So 49 guys will be unhappy with your choices. Put it that way, okay? So no pressure. All right, so first event and who you want to do it with. This is tough because this is like right up top of our heads.
This is tough.
Yeah.
First event that I'd go with is... So in Lancaster, in Stony Brook, there is Christmas tree driving around and looking at all the houses that decorate. So I'm going to go with I don't know what officially is it called? Christmas tree or not Christmas tree? Christmas lights.
Like decorating your house?
No, like where you just drive through the.
Stony Brook?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just where you drive. Just where you
We'll call it
drive
Stony Brook Lights. Stony Brook Lights.
Yeah,
Okay,
let's go with that.
Okay. With who?
We'll do that with Javon Solomon, just because he's from Florida, and my girlfriend's from Florida too, and I just don't understand how they enjoy Christmas when there's no snow on the ground.
Right.
I just don't get it. I just don't get it.
Phenomenal. Okay, I like it. All right, it's my turn. I'm gonna go snowball fight, and I'm gonna take Josh Allen because he's gonna just crush everyone he throws it at.
But if it's just you and him, then he's gonna show the snowball.
That's true. That's a good point. I get crushed, but he's on my team. I'm doing it with him, so he's gonna be on my wingman. Get it? Oh, terrible pun. Sorry, but he'll be my wingman in a snowball fight. Okay, so that's mine. All right, event number 2, and who are you doing it with?
Okay, I'm going to go with event number 2 is Christmas morning breakfast. I'm sure everyone has their own traditions, but we make Belgian waffles at my house with ice cream on top of them. And I'm sure everyone has their own traditions, whatever it is. I'm going to do that with Dorian Williams. I know he can chef it up a good bit, so I'm going to do that with him.
So we're learning that Dorian Williams can cook.
Yeah, he can.
Okay. There's a lot of we're hearing a lot of guys. Like Dwayne Carter can cook.
Yeah.
Fat Boy Friday.
Connor's
right?
been,
McGovern, right?
Connor's
Great cook with his pizzas.
Yeah, he's a big cook.
Have you been to his house for pizzas or no?
I have not, actually.
Okay.
I have not. I've heard about it.
Because you're on the other side of the ball. He's just like, you're not invited? Is that how it works? Real nice. Okay, I love that. I would never have thought of Christmas breakfast Belgian waffle. That's phenomenal. That's great. Okay. I'm going to make snow angels with Deion Walker. Only because I think his wingspan is probably, again, I used it again, the wings, again. Seemed like, I don't know. Jeez. I just think his wingspan, he's going to make the biggest snow angel of everybody.
Yeah,
so I'm going to take Deion Walker as snow angels.
That's a good one.
Okay, thanks. I appreciate that. No one else seems to like it, but that's fine. It's not about me. All right, number 3.
I'm going to go Christmas tree decorating. I keep thinking of like canal side ice skating, but I can't even skate, so I can't say that. But I'm going to go Christmas tree decorating, and I'm going to pick Greg Rousseau because he's going to put the star on top of the tree.
Oh, man, you stole my thunder because I was coming back with that one. That's okay, though. That's good. All right. And I can't ask for your help. I can't even phone a friend on this one because I know what I would want to do. I just don't know the player that could do it right. And I know that I've heard. Okay, I'm going to do sing Christmas carols, and I'm just going to randomly say Ray Davis. I don't know. For some reason, I feel like Ray Davis might be able to sing. Any knowledge?
I'm not informed whether he can or cannot. So
okay.
I can. I'm sure he can. I can. I can. No, I can.
So, but you do know you're not willing to divulge whether or not he's good or bad, or you just don't know.
I truly don't know.
Okay.
I truly don't know.
But if there's a singer on the team,
I actually don't know who I'd pick for that.
Deion Dawkins. Yeah. Okay. I was gonna pick Deion. I felt it was too obvious. No.
I'm not totally sure who is the best.
All right. You don't know who has a good voice. Okay. All right. Very good. So I am feeling miserable after a big win on Thanksgiving. I am just getting destroyed. Okay. So let's refresh everybody. Joe has touring Stony Brook Heights and Javon Solomon. He's got breakfast in Dorian Williams, and he's got top of the Christmas tree in Greg Rousseau. Who likes Joe's team in the Christmas Winter Events draft? All right. That was not as rousing as I thought it would be. Okay. All right. I have Snowball Fight Josh Allen, Snow Angels Deion Walker, and caroling with Ray Davis. Who likes my team? I don't know.
That's pretty even.
It might be a tie.
Yeah.
Rochambeau? No, I'm kidding. All right. Well, that was fun. That was good. And now I know things that I didn't know about you at all, that you do Belgian waffles for breakfast. I'll never forget that. And no, neither will anyone watching this live here at Wingnuts or on YouTube. So that's very cool. All right, final segment comes up next. Everybody in here got a slip, and we asked them to write a question for Joe. We're going to pick a bunch of them and do fan questions when we come back, all right? Joe Andreessen, everybody, give it up one more time. One final segment coming up next from England Bar and Grill, Roswell Park Comprehensive Cancer Center, Buffalo under the helmet. Back after this. Buffalo fans know what it means to celebrate heart, grit, and tradition. That's why Athlete Accolades is here, helping you capture those unforgettable sports moments with custom plaques, memorabilia, and displays made just for fans like you. Whether it's honoring a legendary play, your favorite player, or your own sports journey, Athlete Accolades turns memories into keepsakes you can treasure forever. Check them out at athleteaccolades.com and bring the pride of Buffalo into your home. Welcome back from Wingnuts Bar and Grill on Miller Sport near UB. Football under the helmet. Huge crowd on hand. Rich Gensler and Buffalo Joe Andreessen, everybody. One more time for him. Thanks to Wingnuts and, of course, Roswell Park Comprehensive Cancer Center for being our prime sponsor. And, of course, all of our sponsors, obviously, thanks to them as well. We had the Paul's Donut earlier, Vision Financial, and a number of others that are on board with us. We thank you in our first year of existence as Buffalo Under the Helmet. So we talked a little bit of Christmas here a moment ago, and off mic between breaks, Joe is like, yeah, you know what? I should have used gift exchange and picked Josh. Why? Because he's got the most money. Naturally. That makes perfect sense. You would have won with that, I think. That would have put you over the top. So do you have, I know, stock question, but I'll ask you anyway. And I know the easy answer is a football or a football jersey or a helmet, but do you remember what your favorite Christmas gift was growing up?
Oh.
I know it's everybody gets a lot growing up as a kid, but was there one that really, was it a video game? Was it anything that stands out? A scooter? I don't know.
I don't know. I'm truly blanking right now. I can tell you, it's not even me. I remember when my brother opened his iPhone when he was in like middle school or something. I remember him like freaking out. I don't remember what mine even is though. So
well, that means you got a lot of good ones.
I did. My parents Santa Claus treated us right. So, but no, I can't think of one that comes to the top of my head right away. No.
Okay, fair enough. As we're talking, think about it and then come back to me. All right, time for the fan questions. You guys all put in slips with questions, and we're going to read these two for you, Joe, and answer to the best of your ability. Okay. All right, here we go. Where is Emmy? Emmy's back, part of the Bills Mafia Babes in the back, a regular with us. All right, Joe, here we go. You grew up playing in the Buffalo snow. Great question. What's it like playing Bills football
In snow games?
Yeah.
So this weekend obviously was snow, and San Francisco last year was a snow game. And honestly, it's really hard. Not even the cold or anything like that. That's one thing. And, you know, all these games down the stretch are going to be cold. But it's really the footing and the traction and everything like that. It's very hard to kind of go full speed and plan and change direction. And, you know, kind of on that turf, it kind of builds up and ices up a little bit. So it gets stuck to your shoe. And the traction's very not great. So difficult, I'd say, to play in the snow.
Yeah, for sure. And obviously you play in a really high-impact sport, very physical sport. Yeah. You were telling me before we started the show about how in the winter and in the cold, it just, hits, just the pain amplifies, right?
Yeah, they do. And I was telling you, especially the next day, you know, all those hits you get and the bruises you might have the next day, whatever it is, are amplified even more. You just feel them. I don't know why, but you feel them even more. You're more sore after a cold game than you are early this season.
Just everything, every time you get hit stings, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think that running backs probably like it a lot because it hurts more for us on the defense side.
Right, because they're leading with theirs.
Yep.
Chris Blakowski. I hope I said it right. Chris, you here? Oh, another one of the Mafia Babes. Hi, Chris. Here we go. This is another great question. You guys are coming at it right tonight. Do you miss tailgating with fans? Great question.
That's a good question. I don't even know how to answer that. I mean, because I want to say yes, but no at the same time because I'd rather be playing, obviously. Right. But sometimes I do, like, obviously when we're driving in on early games or late games, you see all the, even when we're, you know, even if we have a night game when we're leaving the facility from like a walkthrough early in the morning, people are already setting up and everything like that. And, you know, just kind of think to myself, like, yeah, that used to be me out there, and now I'm just like waking up and getting ready for it. But yeah, I mean, both are fun, but I think I'd rather be playing. So let's say no to that question. Yeah.
Okay, pre being a pro, did you ever go through a table?
No, I didn't. I've seen many people go through tables, and a lot of my friends. Yeah, I've seen them go through tables. I think the crazy. I seen someone jump from a bus one time in the grass lot onto the table, and I was always playing football and everything like that. So I was like, yeah, that's not a good idea.
It really isn't. You're right. Smart. Lauren Dewey. Where's Lauren? Also back with the Babes. She writes in, as someone who was a fan of the Bills and attended games, who was the one player you were awestruck to meet when you made the team?
I don't want to say the word. I want to say no one because the word awestruck is a very big word.
Right.
I don't want, but no, I'd probably say Matt Milano. I'm in the room with him, and Matt knows that. I was a fan of him before I was on the team and everything like that, and it's not weird or anything. But I remember watching him kind of throughout my college years or later high school years, and watching him play, and because just when I watched football at that time, I was always watching the linebackers and everything like that. Just and he was someone I wanted to try and emulate my game after. So definitely cool meeting him, and now we talk every day, which is definitely cool.
Yeah, what a player, man! What a player!
Absolutely.
Definitely a Bills great forever, man. I love that guy, and I hope he can get back to that level that we knew him as a couple of years as a first team All-Pro. He was such a great guy. So wishing the best for him. Clearly, have you exchanged jerseys with anyone?
I actually have not. No.
If you could,
anyone in the league?
Yeah.
That's a good question too.
And that's from Bob. Is Bob here?
No.
Oh, he's back over on the other side of the bar. There he is.
No, I had not exchanged jerseys with anyone. I came from Bryant, and we actually only have one other player in the league, and that's Tom Kennedy. I don't know. He just had, he just got the game ball the other day.
Wide receiver?
Yeah, which is cool to see. So he's a Bryant guy. A lot of these guys that come from Power 5 schools, they know a bunch of guys on all teams. So, or if they're in the league a long time and people get traded away and everything like that. So I don't know a ton of people in the league. If I had to choose one though, that's a good question.
We're on that for a
yeah,
second.
that might take me a while to answer.
All right.
Because I don't want to say the wrong one later. I'm going to get access to him.
All right, last question from the fans. Kathy Sunderland. Kathy, back there with the Babes as well. Here we go. What would you tell your teenage self about staying committed to your dream of playing in the NFL?
What would I tell my teenage self?
Obviously you went through what you did to get here.
Yeah.
But if you could do anything different in the process.
It'd be hard to tell my teenage self something generalized or at one time, I would say. There's definitely times and moments where I would like to say something, just because, hindsight's 20/20, and looking back at, where I am now, maybe I should have did that different or that different. So maybe in moments, I don't think I would tell them anything general, just because I think the fear of the unknown of, maybe the dream not happening is kind of what keeps you going through it all. So, I don't want to tell my teenage self it's all going to work out, because maybe that changes things or something like that.
Well said. Really well said. Excellent response. Thank you for the questions.
And I thought of
Yes.
the other question as
Yes.
well. Let's do Sean Dolak, because
I love it.
That's my guy.
Perfect.
That's my guy from LA.
Western New York guys in the league, playing the same position. Love it. Love it. And we love you, man. Thanks a lot for doing this again. We really appreciate it. Everybody, one more time for Buffalo Joe Andreessen, 44 for the Bills. That will do it for another edition of Buffalo Under the Helmet from Roswell Park Comprehensive Cancer Center and Wingnuts Bar and Grill here on Millersport by UB. Thank you to Roswell Park Comprehensive Cancer Center, all of our sponsors as well. All of you, hey, give yourselves a nice round of applause for being here and being amazing A great audience as always. We love you guys for coming out and supporting the show, and support us, of course, on YouTube as well. One more time for Buffalo Joe. I'm Rich Genfler. This has been Buffalo Under the Helmet. Good night, everybody.
Thank you for tuning in to Buffalo Under the Helmet, presented by Roswell Park Comprehensive Cancer Center. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. We'll see you next time.
Family First Marriage.